Hey legends, what's up? It's Darkmech here from Big Dumb Gaming, and today I thought we might crank out a guide for the old Vengeance Demon Hunter. Reason being is that there are a lot of people trying to complete their Mage Tower mounts right now, and to do that of course you need to finish one of the tank challenges to go towards that. There is no easier tank challenge than the Vengeance Demon Hunter one, so video breakdown like all of them. I'm going to cover off the talents to choose for this, your consumables, macros, gearing, the gear I used, what works in the tower, what doesn't. I'm going to break phase 1 and phase 2 down for you, and then I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the kill video. The idea behind this is to give you as much confidence to get this done as you can, as there'll be a lot of people that don't even play tanks looking to complete this. This is who this video is for, so let's get into it. Okay guys, so talents here. So level 15, you're going to go with Abyssal Strike, and the reason is it gives you a little bit of extra added mobility with a reduced cooldown on Infernal Strike, and we all know how much Demon Hunters struggle with mobility, but there isn't anything else to really choose on this row. You get a nice little damage boost from it, as everywhere you leap with Infernal Strike, you will leave a Sigil of Flame down, so you get a little bit of extra damage out of it. It's the best pick here. Level 25, Fallout. So Fallout will generate more souls for you from Immolation Aura, so more souls, more damage. That's what we want in this challenge. Level 30, Spirit Bomb. So this is 100% the play. It's a pure DPS choice. Spirit Bomb will wipe out the ads really quick. And obviously this is a tank challenge designed about killing things quickly. So Spirit Bomb is the play. Level 35, Fracture. So Fracture is the highest DPS talent available to us. And it's a tank style DPS race, as I just mentioned, with Spirit Bomb. So Fracture goes hand in hand. That's what we want. Level 40, Quicken Sigils. Again, there's not really much to choose here. Chains is pretty invalid. With Sigils, you have much greater control around the ads. It also gives you a little bit more flexibility around stopping Varus casts or interrupting him. So Quicken Sigils is the play here. Level 45, Demonic. This will give you access to another DR. So when you use Fell Devastation with Demonic, it'll switch you into Metamorphosis. I think it's for 6 seconds. Which will act as a damage reduction for you, which just puts something else in the toolkit for you in that regard. And level 50, Last Resort. So this is your cheat death. This is your cover up in phase 2. In phase 2, the boss Kruul is going to hit you with abilities called Annihilates, and they stack up. The debuff on it stacks each time, and when you get to around 4 or 5, it gets quite hairy, and Last Resort gives you a way out of that. Okay, so let's talk about consumables. So drums. So you want to have some drums in here, and all drums do the exact same thing in time walking. So just grab whatever drums are the cheapest on the auction house. You want a stack of them. When Kruul comes down in phase 2, you're going to pop your drums and you're going to go Giga Chad on him. Scrolls, if you want a nice little power boost, you can pick up War Scrolls of Battle Shout and War Scrolls of Fortitude. They are quite expensive on the auction house at the moment. They're not totally required for this, but if you do need a boost, they're there. Runes, Augment Runes will grant you +5 primary. So the Veiled Augment Rune from Shadowlands works to this and gives you 5 primary. Otherwise, if you played in Legion and you bought the Light Forged Augment Rune, you can bust that out as well. But any of the runes that give you +5 primary are worth grabbing. Pots wise, you've got a few options here, and I'm going to kind of leave this open in case anything changes. At the moment, Potion of Unbridled Fury is doing nutty damage, okay? So there are no other choices at the moment. It is just Potion of Unbridled Fury because it deals so much damage, and you're going to use that on Kruul in phase 2. You don't pot in phase 1. Potion of Unbridled Fury, Kruul, phase 2. Now, if something happens to that, you have some other options. Your other options are something like Potion of Prolonged Power, which gives you 40 primary for 60 seconds. The BFA pots, the Superior Battle Potion of Agility, will get you 105 primary for 25 seconds, which makes them a really good choice. If you want to stick in Shadowlands, don't use the Spectral Agility pots. They'll give you 54 primary for 25 seconds. You're far better off using your Potion of Phantom Fire, as that deals quite a bit of damage as well, but not to the likes of Unbridled Fury. From a health pot perspective, Legion health pots, Astral Healing Potions give the most bang for buck at 4,950 health returned. BFA Abyssal Healing pots give you 4,400 back, and Shadowlands Spiritual Healing give you a measly 2,200 back. Weapon oils, you're going to stick with Shadow Core oil, nothing changes there. Flasks, BFA flasks, once again leading the charge here, 31 primary from Greater Flask of the Currents. The Legion Flask 7th Demon will get you 21 primary, and your Shadowlands Flasks will get you 20 primary. Food-wise, Borealis Blood Sausage, hard to find, but they'll give you 13 primary. The Mists of Pandaria Seamus Rice Noodles will give you 10 primary, and Shadowlands Feast of the Gluttonous Hedonism will give you 7 primary. If you would rather chase secondary stats, you can just get the Sweet Silver Grill Sausages from Shadowlands, and they'll give you 18 versatility. I think I just ate like steak a la mode, and it just did not matter because, you know, and I'm not trying to take away from this challenge if you're struggling with it or whatever, but Demon Hunter certainly has a lot of advantages, and you don't need to pull out all the stops to achieve it. Armor kits, heavy Desolate armor kits will give you plus 10 stamina, and they're your best options. Okay, so there are 2 really important macros you need for this challenge to make your life easier, and they are focus macros, okay? So one is a focus imprison macro, and the other is a focus disrupt macro, and they're on the screen at the moment, and they're in the description for you to copy. What this will do is you will focus Varus in phase 1, and you will focus Kruul in phase 2. When Varus in phase 1 goes to cast Drain Life, you'll hit your focus disrupt macro, and no matter what you're targeting, it will interrupt Varus, PogChamp. Same in phase 2, you'll set Kruul as your focus. When he goes to cast Twisted Reflections, you'll press your button, it will interrupt him no matter what you're targeting. The same works with the Imprison. If you're dropping stacks of Aura of Decay and you want Varus to stop hitting you with a Mind Rend, you can imprison him and he'll chill out in prison for a while, and then you can jump back in once your stacks are off. Another macro that is completely not required, but one that I really like and I thought I would include for you, is my sigils at cursor macro. So I like my sigils to go, I just point on the ground or on the map where I'm going to drop it. I press the button and it will go where my cursor is. So I've included that macro as well. It's not needed, but it just saves a double click. It's faster. I like it for controlling the ads and things like that. If you like it, you can use it there. All you need to do is just change its Sigil of Silence at the moment. All you need to do is write Sigil of Misery over Silence or Sigil of Flame. Okay, so let's talk about enchants. So enchants depend largely on what kind of gear you're bringing into this. Now, if you're in your Shadowlands gear, stick with your Shadowlands sockets and move on. If you've gone and done something like Siege of Orgrimmar, then you will have sort of a time walking set, and your gear will be between level 45 and 47, which means that you're open to using a lot of the enchants that require being under level 50 to use, which is a fairly significant power boost. So I'm going to run you through the best in-slot enchants here. So neck, Mark of the Hidden Satyr, Mark of the Claw is another option there. Shoulders, Greater Tiger Claw Inscription. Cloak, Fortified Leech. Chest, Eternal Stats. Wrists, Greater Agility. Hands, Major Agility. Belt is a Living Steel Belt Buckle. Legs, Shadow Leather Leg Armor. Feet, Eternal Agility. Rings, you got 2 options, a Cord of Versatility or Tenon of Versatility. And weapon-wise, Force Multiplier, Sinful Revelation, or Celestial Guidance. Now, I went with Force Multiplier and Sinful Revelation. Dancing Steel has been nerfed into the ground and isn't worth using. So they're your 3 best picks for that one. So gem-wise, now if you've gone to the effort, and when I say effort, if you've gone and ran Siege of Orgrimmar once, then you will probably have anywhere from 8 to 12 slots to fill up with gems to give you more power boost, and you're going to want to fill them with gems. So if you went and got a meta gem, 2 choices for meta gem, your Agile Primal Diamond from Mists of Pandaria or your Agile Spirit Diamond from Cataclysm, they're your 2, 3 agility and plus 3% increased critical strike effect, one of those. Agility gems, plus 7 agility. There's a unique Leviathan's Eye. There's a plus 6 agility Kraken's Eye and a plus 6 agility Saber's Eye. You can only have one of those each, and then you can just fill out the rest with either plus 4 or plus 3 agility gems, depending on how much they are. So gear and gearing. So I'm not going to give you a best in slot time walking set or list or anything like that. Chromie time walking is the best avenue you can go down for power wise. Otherwise, Siege of Orgrimmar is a fantastic route to take. Now, being a demon hunter, you can't buy the crafted PvP Glad gear because it's all set usable. So you're pretty much locked out of that. However, you can go to Siege of Orgrimmar and pick up like anywhere from 8 to 12 sockets in one run. You will lose out on a little bit of stamina because your gear will be between 45 to 47 and everything gets scaled down to 50. but you will make up so much raw power. It's absolutely insane. And then you can just fill your gear with the cheapest agility gems that you can find, and away you go. So I'm going to cover off my gear on the screen that I used. And again, I went and did Siege of Orgrimmar once before I did the tower. Okay guys, so covering off my gear. Now, if you're wondering why things look different, servers were down last night when I went to do this. I'm doing it in the morning. I haven't done my hair yet. It's a bit something like Mary. Them's the breaks. Okay, so this is what my gear looked like when I did the Vengeance Demon Hunter challenge, and it's fairly cheesy, but it's from one run of Siege of Orgrimmar the morning before I did the tower, and I got all of these sockets. I didn't have to spend a dime. It cost me 14k all up, including enchants and gems. Crazy. So, this is what my setup looked like. I didn't have anything on my helm. I had Pridas from Legion with Mark of the Hidden Satyr on it. 3 agility gem in there. I had got some shoulders from Siege of Orgrimmar, filled them with 3 agility. I used my cloak from BFA. Chest piece with 3 sockets, all 3 agility on them and primary stats. I couldn't get any gloves. Sorry, I had braces from Shadowlands, and I just stuck a 6 agility gem in there. Got really lucky with 2 weapons out of Siege of Orgrimmar, both with sockets in them, so I popped their gems in those. I went to Emerald Nightmare and I got a Ravaged Seed Pod because, as I said, that is a really strong trinket at the moment. And then the rest is all just as it looks. So it's all just from Siege of Orgrimmar, basically, and it allowed me to absolutely blast through this. Now, I use the Infallible Tracking Charm. This is an heirloom trinket that's not available anymore. It was out in Warlords of Draenor, and you get 10% extra damage against demons for 5 seconds if this trinket procs. Now, Varus is a demon and Kruul is a demon, so that has obvious strengths with it. It is only 5 seconds, but you do get a initial damage burst off it, which will randomly proc throughout the fight as well. Another option, it does proc strength and isn't as good in that regard, but the uptime for the damage is much better, is the Grauntooth Warhorn. Now, this is 10% extra damage against demons for 15 seconds, and every time you get a killing blow on something, it extends for 8 seconds. So you can get really high uptime on phase 1, and in phase 2 if you're lucky with the ads as well. But that all obviously depends on if you were lucky enough to get either trinket, but I was just focused on phase 2, so I just went in with Infallible Tracking Charm, and that worked out really well. So that's what my gear looked like, guys. Let's talk about other trinket options that you've got to roll through this. So trinket options, there are a few. So the Ghost Iron Dragonkin at the moment is a crafted trinket that is doing insane damage that you'll fill with 3 Tinker slots. Now you find these for around 20k on the AH at the moment if you can't craft one yourself. You do want to get the level 57 version though, just keep that in mind, as that's the one doing all the busted damage. The Ravaged Seed Pod, which is from the first boss in Emerald Nightmare, is also another amazing pickup for this challenge at the moment and is doing a fairly significant amount of damage and leech. The Infallible Tracking Charm, which is the one that I went over in my gear before, is largely really valuable just due to its proc of 10% extra damage against demons for 5 seconds. You can't extend it like you can with the Grauntooth Warhorn, but, you know, Varus is a demon, Kruul's a demon, you get the picture when it procs. Unstable Arcano Crystal is a really good option as well from Legion World Boss. The Blood Spatter Scale is always worth a mention as well. That is a really nice trinket for either using on the ads or annihilates with Kruul. Shard of Analyze's Aegis is another option from the 9 as well here. Or your Reactive Defense Matrix is also something that you can use. So there's lots of different trinket options that you can use in this, but, you know, there are a couple of the top picks. So what doesn't work in the tower? Sadly, any form of borrowed power does not work in the tower. So, you know, legendaries, tier sets, legendary effects on weapons, cloaks, all that kind of stuff has all been deactivated. You can still use those options for those items for secondaries or gem slots. You just won't get any of the effects out of them. And of course, your covenants have been disabled as well. Okay guys, so let's break the fight down. Let's talk about phase 1. So phase 1 has you fighting Inquisitor Varus, and it revolves all around managing stacks of Aura of Decay, which you will get when you set foot in Varus's melee range and the big black circle surrounding Varus. There will be a heal called Drain Life that you have to kick. There will be Nether Horrors spawning that try to kill your NPCs, Valen and Corvus as well in phase 2. And there will be Eyes and Infernals trying to knock you off the platform, but you're a Demon Hunter, and even if you do fail at this, you can just glide down to safety. So, what is Aura of Decay? Well, as I said, Inquisitor Varus is surrounded by a big bad circle, and when you enter this, you start gaining stacks of Aura of Decay. This reduces your max HP, and it continues to stack. So I'd recommend going to around 4 to 5 stacks of Aura of Decay, jumping out, waiting for your stacks to drop, and then jumping back in. Mind Rend is a cast that Varus will be casting on you throughout this encounter, constantly through phase 1. And honestly, as long as you don't let your stacks of Aura of Decay go too high, you don't really have to worry about them at all. You can imprison Varus when you jump out to let your stacks drop for a little bit, or you can cast a Sigil of Misery under him, but really, you can just let them go through. Drain Life. This is the heal that I've been banging on about. You have to kick this. You've got your focus macro. Press Disrupt when he goes to Drain Life. Easy peasy. Tormenting Eyes. So these are eyes that will spawn around the platform and they will lock onto you with a green beam called Inquisitive Stare. And when that channel finishes, I think it's a 6-second channel, you will get punted somewhere, generally off the platform. However, you're a Demon Hunter and you can just glide. You can kill these as well. They take all forms of damage, so you can just run around when you're dropping Aura of Decay stacks and kill the eyes if they're annoying you. It's not really a problem. Smoldering Infernals. These adds the spawn in phase 1 and then carry through into phase 2. They don't actually die though. They just walk around pulsing damage. They do a really large frontal smash when you get in range of them, or they get in range of something, because they'll also cast it on the NPCs. When they run out of health from pulsing out damage, they'll take a little spell, they'll get up and they'll do it again. Never waste any time DPSing them, just move around them. If you get punted, glide to safety. Nether Horrors, these ads spawn in phase 1 and phase 2, and honestly, they are a pain in the ass. They will stack a debuff on you called Psy Talons, which causes you to take increased arcane damage by 10% per stack. They will also cast an ability called Netherstorm. Now this has a 3.5 second build up channel and then a 6 second actual channel, and they move while they're casting it. You have to be really careful, as when these ads come out of the 4 shadow doors around the encounter space, they will generally make a line straight to Corvus or Valen. Generally Valen, and then Corvus generally gets clipped in the back while you're moving around in phase 2. You have to be really careful with shutting these down. Sigil of Silence is absolutely fantastic, and then you can just murder them really quickly, but just keep an eye on them. Generally, if you can tag one in phase 1 really quickly, you will bring the other 3 to you. In phase 2, it's a little bit more finicky, but you do have a lot of control through your sigils and you can murder them down really fast. Prophet Valen. So Valen is arguably the world's shittest healer. I'd probably be up with him, but I think I have him pegged. So Valen will create some healing orbs around the encounter space, which you will use to clear any debuffs you've got. It won't clear Aura of Decay though, so just know that. But when you walk into an orb, it will stun and blind all enemies in the area, and it will interrupt them. So if a Drain Life's going to go off and you don't have a kick or something like that, you can use that. If Netherstorm is going to kill your NPCs, you can run into an orb, disorientate them, and butcher the ads down. So that is about it. You want to try and save as many orbs in P1 as you can going into phase 2. It just makes your life a little bit easier. Okay guys, so phase 2 and the things you need to know. So once you pass your mechanical checkpoint in phase 1 and you kill Inquisitor Varus, Kruul will come down and now your fight really starts. You'll pop your pot, you'll pop your drums, and you will just go nanas. Now a new thing that enters the encounter zone here are these cutter beams, these purple beams that will push you across the platform. You're a Demon Hunter, double jump and glide over them or run around them, whatever you poison. Now the good news is that now you've gone from having one NPC trying to wreck your challenge, now you have 2 NPCs because Corvus has joined the fight. And Corvus will just follow Kruul around and generally will not be smart about positioning. So you really need to watch out when the Nether Horrors come out and they cast Netherstorm, that Corvus is not getting clipped at the back where she's sitting on Kruul, and they're not on Valen as well. Now this phase is all about visual mechanics trying to overwhelm you from what's important, and what is really important are the Nether Horrors and managing Kruul, his Annihilate cast, and kicking Twisted Reflection. That is it. So Kruul is going to belt you with an ability called Annihilate, which is a large physical damage hit, and every debuff increases the damage taken by 110% by the subsequent annihilates that come afterwards. You need to have a plan for how you're going to manage your annihilates. So you can use orbs to delay these casts if you get low, or if the ads are on Valen and things like that. Remember, those orbs are there. So a guide to your annihilates. So the first one you can take with Demon Spikes. The second one you can take with Demon Spikes. The third one you can use Fiery Brand on. The fourth one you can use Fell Devastation as the Annihilate is casting, because remember, it puts you into Metamorphosis, which serves as a DR. And then your fifth one you can either use Last Resort if you've stuffed up, or you can hit Metamorphosis. He should be well and truly dead before 6. 6 should not even be in the space. I'm a terrible Demon Hunter and I had Kruul killed before the 5th Annihilate, so you can do it too. Now keep in mind, as I said, you've got orbs if you need to delay them and things like that. Don't think that you can jump across the platform and outrange Annihilate. It'll still whack you from like 40 yards away or whatever as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, another thing Kruul will do, he'll cast Twisted Reflection. You have to kick this. If this gets off, it's pretty much your attempt balked, as he'll just heal up. I think it's like 5% a tick or something like that. And yeah, your attempt is balked if Twisted Reflection goes off. So make sure you interrupt it. You got your focus macro. And the last thing Kruul will do is a Nether Stomp. He'll jump to you. He'll leave a fiery puddle. Get out of the fiery puddle. That's about it. So let's go to the VOD and let's cover off the fight. Okay guys, so here we are inside the Highlord's Return. This is my gear on the screen as I went over with for you before. So a huge benefit from all those agility gems from Siege of Orgrimmar, Ravage Seed Pod from Emerald Nightmare. So I've set Inquisitor Varus as my focus target. Varus has become active and in I go. So I'm just going to deal as much damage as I can to Inquisitor Varus. This is that Aura of Decay that you can see building up here. I'm going to get to like 4 or 5 stacks and then I'm going to jump out. This is the eye beam that I was talking about. So if you're unfamiliar with this, these are the eyes that spawn this inquisitive stare. I need to be facing where that green beam is coming from to avoid being knocked back. So I'm just going to face it. I'm not going to get knocked back. I'm going to run over and like 2-tap it. Now Varus is casting Drain Life there, which is that kick that you need to do. I've just dropped a Sigil of Misery under him because that'll interrupt his cast and he won't recast it. I could have used my Disrupt interrupt as well, or I could have used Imprison. I just felt a little bit fancy like McDonald's and went with a Sigil of Misery. So the ads have spawned. So these are the 4 little shadow doors that they're going to come out of. So there's 2 on this side and there's 2 on the other side, and the Nether Horrors come out of this. So you want to pick them up as quick as you can. Get aggro on one of them and that will cause the rest of them to come to you. Now, I'm going to drag them onto the boss and I'm going to drop a Sigil of Silence and I'm going to kill them before that actually they have the chance to do anything. So Sigil of Silence has gone off. You can see they're stacking Psy Talons on me, but it's not doing much. I fell dev'd and I've absolutely just melted them down. Up to 5 stacks of Aura of Decay, so I'm going to jump out. These are the Infernals that drop down, and you'll see that they will just pulse out damage. They're very slow, and as they pulse out damage, that's what causes them to lose life. So you can see this green pulse, and every time they pulse, their health ticks down. You just need to watch out as they will do a frontal here. So that another Drain Life just went off, and I used my Disrupt focus macro. Here's the slam from the Infernal. Okay, so when you walk in range of them, they do it on the NPCs as well, but here it is here. When you walk in range, large frontal comes out, you get caught in that, that's what ends up knocking you back. So again, as soon as my stacks are off from Aura of Decay, jumping back into Varus, just getting as much damage as I possibly can on him, dropping my Seed Pod every time it comes off cooldown. And again, yeah, I mean, everything just melts in here. So Drain Life going off, I'm going to interrupt that with Disrupt again. Inquisitive Stare going off, making sure I face the eye. Phase 1 is basically all just executing the mechanics, okay? I know that sounds really dumb, but that's all this is. It's all just about getting stacks of Aura of Decay, jumping out, dropping the stacks, and then getting straight back into Varus to get as much uptime on him as you possibly can. And the reason that you want to try and get through Varus as quick as possible is because it saves you having the Infernals walking around in phase 2, which is just another thing for you to watch. So here comes Drain, I kick that, here comes an Infernal Slam, move out of the way, and then the eye is looking at me as well. So again, I'm just facing that eye at the moment, so I could go over and kill them if I want, but at the moment I've got 2 in the same position and it's quite easy to sort of get around. Now I get punted there But I'm not sure if that was the eye or if it was an infernal. Let's just have a look. So you can see that I'm moving off this way and it's an eye. Okay, so what happened there was this eye beam here is coming from over this way. I need to be facing that way as a character to avoid the knockback. I'm facing off this way, and what happens is it punts me all the way off. Now I'm a demon hunter, so I can just glide back down. Okay, so the huge advantage of this is that you can just glide straight back down. Now I was getting quite low there, so I just ran into an orb and I get full healed from it. It stuns all the infernals, it stuns any eyes that are casting on you, and it'll also stun Varus. Just keep in mind, you can be quite flexible with your orbs in phase 1. You don't have to, oh my god, not touch them, especially on a demon hunter, as you chalk out so much damage. You'll mince through Kruul quite quickly. Don't feel like you need 4 orbs sitting up there to go into phase 2 to be successful. Ads coming back in again. I'm going to drop my sigils on them. I'm going to Feldev on them, and I'm just going to go off and grab an orb here. I really did not need to get an orb there, but I did. So 5 stacks of Aura of Decay. I'm going to finish up those ads. I'm going to jump back in and I'm going to try and push Varus if I can. Just try and watch with your timers as well. DBM have a great challenge mode timer package. Never try and push Varus to die when ads are going to spawn, like I'm about to do here, okay? So Kruul has come down as 4 Nether Horrors has come out, which isn't really ideal. Now you can see here, those ads go straight for Valen, and they will murder Valen really, really quickly, okay? So Varus is about to die here. The 4 shadow doors are on the outside, and you just watch these Nether Horrors on the outside go straight for Valen. Now Corvus has become active as well, so they've all gone up for Valen here. So now I'm just trying to go and get them off Valen. Now, what's really important, guys, here is this is where you'll lose a lot of your attempts. They're going to cast Netherstorm, okay? So remember, there's a 3.5 second build channel and then a 6 second channel. If you interrupt them with an orb in the 3.5 second build, they will insta recast it, okay? So just be aware of that, which means that your NPCs are still in danger or you're still in danger. Now, you have to be really careful about the positioning they are, because if this goes off, they're right around Valen, that'll kill Valen, okay? That'll absolutely kill him DED. Corvus is always going to be chilling out on Kruul's tail and follow you everywhere, okay? So just be aware of positioning around that as well. So I go into an orb to ensure that Valen and Corvus don't get murdered. I've still got 2, which is fine. First Annihilate comes up, which is there, and I'm going to take that with Demon Spikes, okay? So just to show you again, Kruul gets stunned from the orb, and so do the Infernals. I kill the ads, Annihilate comes out, Demon Spikes, Twisted Reflection, I'm going to kick that, okay? So that's it. That's this whole phase until Kruul is dead. The ads will continue to spawn, and that's what you need to watch for. The Infernals will be walking around too and doing that pump back, so you need to watch for that. Again, the ads have gone straight for Valen. I've tried to pull them off here. I'm going to drop a Sigil of Silence here so Corvus doesn't get murdered, and then I'm going to run into one of the orbs, and I'm going to use Fell Devastation just to clean up the ads. Second Annihilate's coming out. I'm using Demon Spikes for this one too. And I'm just trying to run Kruul around the outside. Now, the reason I'm trying to run Kruul around the outside is the Fell Stomps, which leave the giant green circles. I want to try and leave my orb area as free as I can to be able to get in to get access to orbs without having, to run through green shit and take extra damage and be slow. Now, I took an orb there to delay Annihilate. I don't think that was a very smart one, to be honest. This is the 3rd Annihilate hit here, and I've used Metamorphosis in that one. So the plan that I sort of did an outline for you is what you should do, but I've just gone full YOLO and away I go. So he's at 3% now. I've taken 3 hits of Annihilate. I can just grab another orb right now if I want to. I get knocked back, but I glide straight back into Kruul, and then I end up killing Kruul. So 4th Annihilate goes off here, sorry, and I have absolutely nothing for it, but I proc my last resort and Kruul is dead. So again, I am by far not a fantastic Demon Hunter player, but if I can do this, so can you. And consumables wise, I had Greater Flask of the Currents and Well Fed. So that was all I ran with, and Shadow Core Oil, sorry. So you don't need to go full out for this, but Siege of Orgrimmar is a great way to get a very nice power boost with all the agility gems. You can mince through this fairly quickly. If you've got any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you all next time. Good luck, guys. See ya.